this Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the program. And of course, inshallah, Aziz, just before the iftar in the Johannesburg region, we thought just a little bit of, this is the time that we usually have Moulana Yunus in the studio, but he's not here today. So, inshallah, Muhammad has asked me if I could just do a little bit of a nasiha, kalimatan tanfa'una wa la tadurruk, inshallah. So, I was actually thinking that as Ramadan ends, as the month of Ramadan is about to leave, it could be on Monday, it could be on Tuesday, depending on when the sighting of the moon is. But this being the last Friday of the month of Ramadan, I thought it might be a good idea to just ponder upon some of those qualities that we hope that we are able to take with us and keep with us after the month of Ramadan has ended. So it would be such a shame if after the month of Ramadan ends on Eid morning, then we switch off and we go back to normal settings, whatever that is, and completely just discard all these good qualities and good characteristics that we've actually inculcated for our whole 30 days. It will be such a tragedy. And as the ulama will say, that those people who completely change tack when Ramadan is over, it's almost as if those people can be accused of worshipping the month. In other words, why is it that you're only doing these good things and the good deeds and so on when it's Ramadan? Outside Ramadan, you go back to restore factory settings. So what does that mean? It means that you were only doing it because it was Ramadan. So were you doing it for the sake of Allah, or were you doing it for the sake of worshipping a month? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has informed us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bi," that fasting is done for my sake, and I will give the reward of it. So we should only do it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the main reasons for fasting in the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that, oh people of Iman, fasting has been made compulsory upon you, men and women, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that perchance, you may get the quality of taqwa. Now, the ulama have been at pains to explain what fasting and taqwa, what is the link between fasting and taqwa. The link between fasting and taqwa, one can understand it in another way. I came across a story. Muhammad, did you know that if you are driving in the city of Johannesburg and you go over the speed limit and the camera flashes you, you aren't getting a ticket in the mail. You will not get a ticket in the mail. Did you know that? Do you know why? Now, apparently the service provider for the city of Johannesburg has not been finalized for almost a year. So people are getting flashed on camera, but the whole system to get you to get the punitive measure of speeding, going over and above the speed limit, you aren't going to get in the mail. And Metro Police didn't want people to know about this. The Johannesburg Metro Police Department, they were reluctant to tell people that, look, actually, those cameras that you're driving past every day, and some of you are getting caught by the cameras, nobody is getting a ticket. Why? Because there is no service provider, or an agreement with the service provider has not been reached. So I started thinking, okay, so the reason why the JMPD do not want motorists to know that those cameras are actually not going to result in actual tickets or fines, they didn't want motorists to know that because they were afraid that motorist behavior would change. Now, Laylatul Qadr, we were able to go to a different masajid and experience what Laylatul Qadr is like, or even in your local masjid. Now, last night I was fortunate to travel to Randburg and to experience 27th night there, and I saw the usual Ramadan behavior at night for the youngsters when Taraweeh is going on, or after Taraweeh they have the drag races. So people are racing each other in the cars, and it's something that has always happened in South African Muslim communities during the month of Ramadan. So it got me thinking that if people know for a fact that when when the cameras flash you for speeding when you go over the limit, if they know for a fact that they aren't going to get any fines, do you think people are going to slow down? or is it a matter of habit? So the reason why I'm talking about the fines is that, okay, in the month of Ramadan we've all had to slow down from the sin. We all had to slow down from the guna, from the haram. We have to abstain from that which is halal. So imagine that which is halal. That which is halal doesn't even occur to you. You find that it's easier to stay away from haram in the month of Ramadan. Why? Because we are staying away from halal. Food and drink is halal. But during particular hour of the day, we have to abstain. So how do we make sure that we continue with the good behavior? Let us be like those motorists who are keeping within the speed limit, even though they had no idea that they aren't going to be getting any tickets, but it's a matter of by force of habit. So we're making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at this juncture, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to carry forward these characteristics that we've inculcated in the month of Ramadan, that are second nature to us in the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to carry forward these habits even outside the month of Ramadan. Another one is empathy. Empathy and being kind to each other. In the month of Ramadan, we don't even think twice about giving anybody, something to eat, something to break their fast with. But outside Ramadan, we always think, no, what about me? In the month of Ramadan, we are so empathetic and we are so kind and we are so giving. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take that characteristic outside the month of Ramadan and make it part of our characteristic as well. Another one, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us that when somebody tries to argue with you, you tell them, "Inni sa'im, I'm fasting." Why? To avoid arguments. Try to stay away from anger. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La taghdab," when he was advising Sahaba, do not be angry. So that as well is another quality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to take that quality also, outside the month of Ramadan. Another one is filling our stomach. In the month of Ramadan, the stomach is small, you can't eat that much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take that quality as well, because to fill your stomach is the worst thing you can do as a Muslim, because that actually it gives rise to avarice, it gives rise to laziness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us also to take this quality as well. And finally, the quality of dua. The dua and the asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our needs. That complete reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the quality that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to continue that. Because when you have this quality, you have humility, you have the humbleness to understand that it's not me that does anything, it's Allah that does. And our reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, one, make us more humble, and secondly, it will take away this notion that I do, this notion of invincibility, and this pride, that is always before our fall. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to take those qualities with us outside the month of Ramadan, and also, most importantly, the preparation for death. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. It is now time for iftar in Johannesburg. Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa ala rizqika aftartu fataqabbal minni. For myself and the team, assalamu alaikum.